arrest in a Bethesda murder. I'm Kate Ryan.
One defendant may not stand trial yet in the Capitol riot case. I'm Neil Augenstein.
Mixed on Wall Street, the Dow up 170, NASDAQ down 20, the S&P up 2.
It's 2 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Allison Keyes in Washington. Philadelphia's highest court has overturned Bill Cosby's sex assault conviction. Loyola Law professor Lori Levinson has more.
Legally, the reason his conviction was overturned is that the prosecutor had promised immunity, had promised him that he wasn't going to get prosecuted. And those were the conditions under which he gave a deposition. And then that deposition was used against him.
When Cosby was convicted, attorney Gloria Allred, who represented several of his accusers, reacted to the verdict.
Finally, we can say women are believed, and not only on #MeToo, but in a court of law.
Cosby had vowed to serve his full 10-year sentence rather than admit any remorse over his 2004 encounter with accuser Andrea Constand. Turning now to Surfside, Florida, where the death toll has risen to 16 after that condo collapse. WFOR-TV reporter Brooke Schaefer says it's been tough for those who escaped.
There's a lot of things that I think people don't realize these families have lost. Clothes, wedding rings, family mementos. They don't have their driver's licenses either. I mean, they just sort of escaped the building and ran out, and everything they had is left behind. So there are certainly a lot of resources here on the ground to try and help out those families.
CBS's Laura Podesta reports that questions remain over exactly how this happened.
Alan Kilsheimer is a structural engineer who's been hired by the town to investigate the collapse. One piece of that puzzle is figuring out what a lobby attendant heard.
A muffled boom, and then X number of seconds later, a much bigger boom, and then Y seconds after that, a much bigger boom.
That heat wave is still blasting the northwest and northeast. CBS's Danya Backus with more.
Forecasters say it'll hit 100 degrees in New York City Wednesday.
Stay indoors and use air conditioning if you have it.
Others are finding relief at the city's beaches or pools.
President Biden spoke this morning to governors and cabinet leaders about the heat and wildfires.
The extreme heat we're seeing in the West is not only a risk amplifier for wildfires, it's a threat in and of itself. People are hurting. It's more dangerous for kids to play outside. Roads are buckling under the heat.
The CDC says that highly contagious Delta variant of COVID-19 is now in all 50 states.
Of the COVID patients hospitalized in this state, 98% are not vaccinated. And of the 99% of COVID-related deaths in Arkansas, all of them involve people who were not vaccinated.
That is CBS's David Begnaud in Arkansas, and this is CBS News.
Never miss a moment. Top news from WTOP 24/7, 365. Listen on air, on Alexa, and on the WTOP app.
Good afternoon. So glad to have you with us on yet another steamy day this Wednesday, June the 30th. 91 feels like 99. I'm Hillary Howard.
And I'm Sean Anderson. Top local story we're following for you this hour. It's day 2 of the Jared Ramos trial in Annapolis. And the jury is once again hearing testimony to determine whether the man who shot 5 people to death inside the Capitol Gazette newsroom 3 years ago is sane. WTOP's Megan Clardy is there with details.
Attorneys picked up the second day of evidence by replaying a graphic video following the newsroom shooting from a responding officer's body camera video from the scene. It shows Annapolis police officer Wesley Callow finding Jared Ramos hiding under a desk and testified he was compliant during the arrest. An Anne Arundel County crime scene tech testified to finding gun evidence, shotgun ammunition, a military-style knife, flash drives, a destroyed hard drive, and 2 large balls of hair in Ramos's studio apartment where he lived for 14 years. In Annapolis, Megan Cloherty, WTOP News.
Montgomery County Police believe money was the motive. And now they've made an arrest in the murder of a Bethesda man. 36-year-old Billy Phillips III of Rockville is accused of first-degree murder in the death of 66-year-old Jeffrey Biddle of Bethesda. The court documents state Biddle's co-workers reported they got a suspicious email from Biddle saying he would not be into work on June 23rd, and that was odd because he already had the day off. When Biddle did not show for work at Payment Solutions Incorporated on the 24th, Police were called to his Bethesda home, where they found him dead of multiple gunshot wounds. The investigation showed backdated checks from Biddle's account were written to Phillips, who'd been fired from Payment Solutions back in May of 2020. Bank surveillance images showed Phillips cashing and depositing checks totaling more than $18,000 at area credit unions. Kate Ryan, WTOP News.
2 violent arrests involving 2 teens vaping and a viral video from Ocean City. It's now the center of a lawsuit. Here's WTOP's Kyle Cooper.
18-year-old Tazier Griffin and 19-year-old Brian Anderson were arrested in separate incidents earlier this month. Attorney Malcolm Ruff.
These incidents indicate a pattern of unreasonable conduct and have been largely denounced by community advocates, leaders, and politicians since the viral spread of the videos of these attacks.
The video shows Griffin being tased and Anderson being kneed by police. The attorneys want the charges dropped and officers put on leave and investigated. Kyle Cooper, WTOP News.
In other news today, he was charged with assaulting police officers during the Capitol riot and then swearing at a judge. Now that Utah man is not heading to trial. At least not now.
A psychologist who evaluated Landon Kenneth Copeland determined he's not currently competent to stand trial. Copeland faces 4 counts of assaulting and obstructing officers. Prosecutors have now asked the judge to have Copeland sent to the Bureau of Prisons for more testing and, if needed, to help restore him to competency so he can stand trial. If it's requested, a much more thorough evaluation would be needed to determine whether Copeland was sane at the time of the crime. Neil Augenstein, WTOP News.
Another very hot day, maybe the hottest day of the year so far. We'll check that forecast next. It's 2:06.
No matter how the world continues to change, one thing stays the same, our universal need for connection. That's why Poly, the global communication leader, makes it easy for federal government employees to connect and collaborate without barriers or even background noise. Poly makes communication tools that gives you the same impact from your kitchen table as from your office desk. And with seamless access to meeting services like Microsoft Teams and Zoom, you'll be ready for the next change and for the ones after that. For more information, visit poly.com/federal.
You want to sell your home, so why not get started with a plan in the comfort of your own home? This is Dave Johnson, and you've heard me talk about free seller seminars from Jennifer Young Homes. Well, Jennifer has one coming up on Wednesday, July 7th at 6:30. It's online at jenniferyounghomes.com, and to reserve your spot, all you have to do is go to jenniferyounghomes.com. Yeah, it's simple. And as Jennifer told me, the D.C. market is starting to balance out with a few more homes on the market, but it is still a strong seller's market. You don't want to look back and regret that you missed an opportunity to get the most money for your home. And as I discovered, you will with Jennifer Young Homes. Remember, a couple of years ago, Jennifer sold my home in a few days with multiple offers. You can find out how Jennifer does it with her free...
Enjoy. Thanks. Order breakfast at the McDonald's drive-thru. Tell yourself you'll wait to eat it at work, but it smells way too good. So you eat it right there in the McDonald's parking lot meal. There's a meal for every morning at McDonald's.
Right now, get any size iced coffee for 99 cents until 11 a.m. and pair it with your favorite breakfast sandwich or one of our tasty bakery treats. Price and participation may vary.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. McDonald's. I'm loving it.